Hello and welcome to this Java tutorial where we're going to be talking about ArrayLists. So I'm going to do this briefly because I'm going to be going over the collections framework more in a more in-depth video in the future when we look at all the collection types. We're going to be looking at generics too, so hopefully that's something that you're interested in. Basically what the ArrayList class is basically it's just an abstract class that implements the list interface. And the reason I like ArrayList is because it supports dynamic arrays that can grow as needed, so you can push and pop out of the ArrayList. Standard arrays in Java are fixed length, which is a little frustrating, so the ArrayList is really good for stuff like this. After arrays like generic arrays, not generics in general, but just like a basic array in Java has been created, it cannot grow or shrink, as previously mentioned, so it is a bit frustrating to use. So if you do use one of those arrays, you need to kind of know how many elements the array is going to be holding. So array lists are created with like an initial size, which basically means when this size is exceeded, the collection is automatically enlarged, or if, say, something's removed, the array may be shrunk down to the limit to occupy what's held within that particular array list. What we got here is we've got an array list here that takes a type of employee, and then we're just going to call this employees, and we'll just say new array list. Then I've just initialized 3 employees, and then we're doing employees.add A, B, C, and we just add in 2 employees, so we've got 3 elements. All we've done here is there's a constructor on the employee, what takes a name, and we're just setting the name, and then we're just printing out the employee count, and then we're just going to print out each employee and get the employee name. So it's pretty simple stuff. We're just adding 3 employees to the array list. Few notes on the array list: it can contain duplicate elements, maintains insertion order. It's not synchronized. We'll look more into the synchronized keyword in the future, but that's coming up very soon. It's dynamic, so it can go up and down. Extends abstract class as mentioned. Implements the list interface. Allows random access because arrays works on an index basis. So we can, if you look at employees.add, you can also do employees.remove, remove all, I believe, and a bunch of other cool stuff, other methods that are around. I believe the manipulation of the ArrayList class in Java is actually a little slow because of the way it works within shifting elements. So if an element needs to be, if an element occurs within this array list and it needs to be removed, and it's doing some sort of a search tree to find it, or however it does find this particular element, I believe it's a little slower than normal. But we're going to look hopefully into some really technical stuff in the future when it comes to looking for array lists, building linked lists and stuff like that. So yeah, let's take a look at this. Let's run this and see what happens. And there we go. We've got 3 employees. We've got Carl Hardaway, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. There's another way that you can actually initialize this. You can use an anonymous in a class. So I'll show you briefly how to do this. If we just get rid of, well, not get rid of, let me just scoop that. And then we're going to do a anonymous in a class. So what we're going to say is we're going to put in here in ArrayList, we're going to say I want employee in here again. Open this up twice, and IntelliJ is not liking this. Close this, paste that in there. And then, let's see here, we've got employees. What's this saying here? Variable, might not have been initialized, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here, so we could, I don't know, we could do employees, so we can do, let's, oops, I accidentally ran that. Let's just, and you can't comment that out, so let's just do this. So in here we've got the employees, all created, and what we can do, I'm sure you can do employees.add test. Why am I doing test? That's an employee that we're adding in, but that still should work. Let's check this. Why I think I see why. Let's get rid of this again. Put this back. So we're already inside the inner class, so get rid of that. I'm hoping that might work. Oh, it does. That was annoying. But yeah, when you're messing around with this stuff, there's no real... well, probably the best way that I like is to initialize it, then add them in. I don't really like doing it this way in one particular line, because this is making a anonymous inner class with a initializer in here. So also known as the double brace initialization. Not many people really like this, and I don't really use it that much, because what you end up with is just another subclass of the ArrayList initializer, and it's just created. Well, that particular class is created just to create that one particular object. And it just seems like I don't know, not many people do seem to like this. Look into the double brace initializer if you do want. I believe there's some pros and cons with this. I know a few people have looked into the difference between how it works with sets and things of that nature. I do believe it's slower. Say you do it 1,000, 10,000 times, probably won't notice the difference, but nevertheless I do like the previous way. But yeah, that's ArrayList. If you've got any questions, do let me know, and I shall see you in the next video.